Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. Still kicking it off with the Tyranids today, there is another datasheet that's been out for a little while, but I've just never got around to covering it yet, and that is for the big boy himself, the probably Supreme Commander when the Codex does come out, and quite possibly one of the scariest melee characters in the entire setting, and we are of course talking about the Swarmlord. Now, the Swarmlord, according to his datasheet alone, has had some pretty nice, pretty significant buffs to his stat line and his weapons. However, I will say right now, if the rumours are proven to be true, and it is looking more and more likely every day that they are, he has lost a few key abilities that, depending on how they replace them or change them up in the new codex, may end up making him seem less worth taking compared to how he is now, or at least you will have to take him and use him in a different way to how you currently do in 40k. But we will get to that in a moment. On the profile front, as I said, he has had a very nice boost, with his movement, weapon skill, strength and leadership all staying the same at a 9-inch move, 2+ weapon skill, strength 8 and leadership 10 respectively. Every other stat though has had a buff. His ballistic skill is now 2+ rather than 3+, which, I mean, to be fair, he has no ranged guns, it's kind of pointless, but still, it did get better. The main stats we care about though are his toughness, where he got a very nice boost from his current T7 to a much tankier toughness 8, giving you way better durability against any strength 4, strength 7 and strength 8 weaponry, which is a lot of weapons in the game right now. He also gained an extra wound, putting him to 13 instead of 12, which is nice. It's not a huge boost or anything, but it does mean that 2 Dark Lances rolling perfectly can't kill him now, instead leaving him on just 1 wound left. So it can actually make quite a big difference in the grand scheme of things, just that 1 extra wound. His save also got another lovely increase from its current 3-up to a far superior 2+, so he is now rocking a toughness 8, 2-up save, 13 wound profile, which really is going to help keep him alive so he can get up the board and actually do some damage in melee, which is where he really wants and really needs to be. And in essence, this profile change more than doubles his durability against a light arms fire and makes it much harder for things like melter and missile launchers to get wounds through on him as well. So overall, in general, a very welcome set of changes and buffs to his profile. He's no Avatar or Catan, at least not from what we can see now, until we see his full datasheet and all of his rules and abilities and anything else that improves his durability. We can't quite put him on those levels yet, but it's a good start. It is definitely a tankier profile than his current one. The biggest change, in my opinion, is the increase from 6 attacks base to a whopping 9 attacks on his profile. This, even without any kind of sweet profile, still means he is just going to blend through enemy elites, enemy hordes, and enemy vehicles unbelievably easy. And the main reason for that isn't just his 9 attacks, it is also helped by his new and improved Bone Sabers. And these 4 swords were previously strength user, -3 AP, flat 3 damage, and they also did an extra mortal wound on wound rolls of 6. Now, ignoring the mortal wound part because that will probably still be there in some way, it just isn't shown on this leaked profile, but now his Bone Sabers swing at +1 strength and -4 AP with their flat 3 damage. So he is swinging at strength 9 with 9 attacks, outright ignoring any 3-up save or worse, and doing a flat 3 damage. And against something like an Imperial Knight, he will be hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, and then just cleaving through their armor and doing a flat 15 damage to them in 1 round of combat. And that's of course not even considering any mortal wounds that his swords might do in addition to that. He is incredibly scary in melee, and he really will make a mess of pretty much anything he manages to get into combat with. Unfortunately, with his improved stat line does come a few potential changes, as I said, with the rumours. He is apparently not only losing his 3-up invuln, so he has a 4-up invuln base, and in melee at the moment, he gets +1 to that roll against melee weapons. This is apparently going, and I imagine the blade parry rule that gives this ability will probably become a -1 to hit, or you can never reroll hits against him, or something like that we've seen a lot of recently. And then also, he is apparently losing his Hive Commander ability to let a unit essentially move in the shooting phase, so it can move twice in one turn, getting you a huge amount of mobility and ground coverage from a key unit in a single turn. I personally imagine that this will become some kind of stratagem for the Tyranids, if I'm being honest. But it is a shame to be losing it on him, because that was a key part of what made him so good. Apparently, the Swarmlord instead is getting a Chapter Master style ability to give a unit full rerolls to hit, which, I mean, full rerolls to hit is a really powerful ability to have, and on a full squad of warriors, either in melee or shooting, is going to really bump up their damage output. And I imagine on top of that, he'll probably also have the usual 6-inch bubble of reroll 1s to core units. But it just seems like they're changing the Swarmlord to be much more of a Space Marine Captain style unit in his buffs, which, if it is true, is a bit of a shame, because whilst those buffs aren't bad, it does take away a bit of his uniqueness and a bit of his character. I really did love being able to double move a unit with the Swarmlord and get a really nice powerful charge off with, you know, a unit of Hormagaunts or some Carnifexes or something like that. So it would be a shame if that goes, even if it is still available in some way through a stratagem. And then likewise, blade parry is such a key part of his abilities and a key part of his fluff that he is meant to be one of the best melee combatants in the entire galaxy. So I imagine blade parry will stay in some form. I just hope it's good enough to replace the fact that you are losing that 3-up invulnerable now. I think overall, I really do like his stat line. It is really nice and beefy for him, but I do think that the Swarmlord is going to be made or broken based on the other abilities and special powers that he brings to the battlefield in terms of his buffs. If he just has those Chapter Master style rerolls, is that going to be worth it on what will probably be a nigh on 300 point unit that can only really do damage once it gets into melee? So yeah, I don't know about this one. It's not blowing me away nearly as much as, say, the Warriors or the Fleshborer changes have. Just seeing his stats and his weapons, as great as they are in their own right, in the world of 9th edition, that isn't always enough to make a unit worthwhile, and it's going to be the full suite of his abilities and his rules and his buffs and his powers that he can bring to your army that are going to be what makes him worth the investment or not, in my opinion. But what do you think? Do you like his stats and his weapons, and do you think they will be enough to make up for the potential loss of not only his 3-up invuln, but also his Hive Commander double move ability? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.